Friday afternoon, and it's the 13th. It's Friday the 13th of September, and I want to do some honing, but I want to use something different. I want to use a different tape. So first of all, may I show you, gents? This is the Scotch heavy duty grade, which I normally use. Heavy duty grade Super 88. It's a very sticky black tape. It's moderately thick. There's two pieces I've previously used. But because it's so thick, I think there might be a degree of inaccuracies when it comes to honing. So I've got two new blades in to be honed, and I'm using polyimide tape. This is a heat resistant, very thin tape. It's a very pleasant golden, translucent golden colour. Let's see what it looks like on a razor. This little beauty is a Tolly. This one came in from America at a very modest price. They're very cheap in America normally, but of course the postal rates are ridiculous. So this one wasn't too bad at all. Beautiful condition. It has got a corroded edge, only very lightly corroded, and I would say probably turn of the century. Very nice condition, and because I'm a restorer, I restored the box, so it has now a beautiful Tolly case to go in. Anyway, enough about that one. The other one I have to show you has no case as yet. This one is a much later blade. I think this has a little story behind it, but I don't know what. It's only got wood scales with very strange iron wedge. You don't normally see an iron wedge in a blade, not at this date. This is a late one. If you look at the quality of if I can show you, the quality of the Solingen shield etching is absolutely beautiful. So this is a keeper, if it shaves well. This one and the other both have the very thin gold tape. I've got a nice Japanese 1K stone. So what I suggest is I alter my camera angle very slightly. We get to work. Let's first of all, this has got the obligatory black felt Sharpie marker. I don't suppose for a moment that there's any warping in either of these blades, but you never know. Very good way of determining if there's any warps, and if there is, it gives you a very good idea of where you should and where you shouldn't be pressing. Yeah, that's fine. Let's have another look. Yeah. It's a very simple, very good test. If the Sharpie has got a nice clear silver line from heel to toe, you know it's a nice straight blade. Let's try the very old or older Tolly and see how that one performs. This is just to determine two things. One, can I wear through tape quickly? And two, will it actually make any difference on the geometry? Nope, that looks good too. Let me just dry it. Yep. Though you can see, if this phone is sufficiently powerful, you can see that there is in fact, see the little dots, there is corrosion on that edge. So this one's the one that's going to take a little bit more effort, and the other one hopefully isn't. Just wipe off the felt marker as best I can. They're preferably not slicing one's finger while doing it. Right, let's get to town. I want to get these both done this afternoon, quick as possible, because I need a Friday the 13th shave. And I'm very keen. I've been very busy this week. It's been a horrible week. I mean, everything's gone wrong, but not on Friday the 13th. I think 13s are actually lucky numbers. When I bought my phone number many years ago, for those with a good memory, it was on Orange. And on Orange you could select for a small price your number. So So mine added up to 13. Never been bad for me. Yeah, that's coming. That's very nice. Ooh, it's far more visible now, those little rust marks. Ooh, dear, 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 dear. Yeah, this one's going to take a fair bit of work. And I'll be damned. Look at that. This tape is completely useless. It's gone through already. So thin tape is a heat-proof tape, so I imagine it has other uses other than razor honing. The main use for me will be to throw it in the bin. Anyway, just goes to show it's all about experiment, chaps. I do love to experiment. Yeah, so we have a proof of a couple of things. Polyimide tape is rubbish, and I'm going to now put on this nice black Scotch tape, which is reliable. It's sticky, but reliable. There you go. Try and get it centralised, it does help. Yeah, that's centralised. So, back to Old Faithful, the Scotch tape. And again, got to get out a bit more water. We've got to get out this corrosion. You can't have corrosion. Do you know, I'm even picking up, yes I am, I'm even picking up little bits of that crappy tape. So what I'm going to do, chaps, if you don't mind me boring you to tears, I'm just going to flatten again this nice stone. This is of course a nice cheap 1K stone. Yeah, this is a king stone. This is a Kingstone 1000 grit, and this is what happens if you use inferior crappy tape. That is rubbish. Never buy thin tape unless you have more knowledge about these matters than I. I'm going to do at the moment just edge leading strokes, moderate pressure. You've got to use pressure when you're using stones to get out marks. This weight of the blade stuff is great when you're using a 10,000, 20,000 grit stone. But when you're using a 1K or a 3K stone, pressure. Lots and lots of pressure. Within reason. Obviously the worst thing you can do is to warp in any way the blade. If you do put too much pressure on the edge, obviously you can cause it to lose its dimensions and its integrity, but that's fine. This is probably one of the more novel tests I've done. So this isn't a Martin shave test for a blade, this is a Martin shave test for tape. Anyway, let's have a look. Yeah, that's about 60% of those pits gone. So I always recommend a nice coarse stone. I mean, obviously if you want to do rotary strokes, I'd still recommend rotary strokes edge leading. Otherwise you're going to end up with a nice big edge burr. And wire edges aren't my favourite. I don't think they're anybody's favourite. Anyway guys, I'm not going to keep this ridiculously long and boring discussion. I just want to show you how quick it is to one, use the right tape, and two, if you are using the right tape, to try to remove rather annoying corrosion. So back to edge leading, 4.5 strokes. The rotary strokes, very good for removing lots of steel. It's difficult with a coarse stone like this to detect huge amounts of swarf, but believe me, it is there. That's a good grey to dark brown swarf. Let's see how much I've got rid of this time. Yeah, it's coming nicely. Yeah, still got to do some more, and then I'm going to leave you in peace. All I'm going to do after this is a progression through the stones, which you've all seen before, and then I'm going to end up, on Mark's wonderful water of air. And the interesting part will be an American steel versus a modern German steel, and see with the same process which has the better edge. This is going to be quite an interesting little test. So anyway, chaps, I just want to make this a short one because you don't want to keep watching people honing. It's rather wearisome. So, oh yeah, that's about 75% now gone. But this one I'm going to test, but I'm going to take that crappy heat-proof tape off and go back to using black. Let's just get all the marks quickly, all the corrosion marks off of this poor little blade. The Tollies are lovely razors. I've got to say, I'm actually totally enamoured of early American blades. Genko, Tolly, all of them as far as I can see, superb hollow ground, high quality steel blades. America always did have a knack for quality high production, and their razors are certainly proof of that. Anyway, let's have a quick gander, a quick look. No, still got a little bit more to go. Not a lot, just a bit. Got to be careful with these things. The worst thing you can do is to leave any pits behind, because all your work after your bevel set is wasted. As Mark just mentioned on one of our wonderful shave groups, the bevel set is the critical part. If you're happy with a good bevel set, the rest is just polishing. But I'm only going to do a little bit more. Now I'm going to call this a day. What I'll do then is I'll finish off using the water of air. Then I'm going to do a shave, and hopefully some of you might want to see that. It's surprising how deep some of these little what seems to be very small edge pits. It's surprising they can go on and on. Yeah, I can hear that cutting beautifully. You're only going to lose a very small amount of steel. I'm in favour of saving any razor you can. If it's got a nick or a pit in the edge, yeah, go to town on it. So another look. Well, well, well. Every time I look it gets better. Yeah. Ooh, very little left now. I'm still going to do some more. Now it's 14 minutes. I might only go to 15 minutes because you're all going to get bored and go away, and I don't blame you. All I would say is this is the answer for redeeming an edge. If you've got any faults on the edge, 1K it. If it's a really big fault, if it's a big nick, you've got to go and use the diamond plate, in which case you bread knife it. Then you bring it back and then you put it on the 1K. Anyway, this one hasn't got very far to go now. Let me just show you how rubbish modern tape is. When I say modern tape, this is supposedly a heat resistant thin tape. Well, it might be heat resistant, but it certainly isn't resistance against stones and abrasion. So that one's never going to get used again. I'm going to keep with my thick black electrical tape. And I'm saying so because this razor, I don't think has ever been used. It's probably still got a factory edge on it. It's had a tiny bit of case corrosion, a little bit of staining, only on that side. But look at that Solingen. Isn't that beautiful? That's a lovely etched panel. Not indicative of anything great. The pity is, it doesn't have a maker on it, which brings me to my only other point, which is you can still find extremely good edges can be taken from unnamed razors. So this one has Silberstiel or Silberstahl. Yeah, Silberstahl. Guarantee Solingen. For me, that's quite good enough. And I think a tiny little figure which says IA. This will be, I will almost guarantee, a good shaving razor. We will find out later. So that's the little Solingen. Both these razors are about the same size. They're marginally 6/8 and deeply hollow ground. Anyway, I'm going to go back to work on this one. I'll see you guys very, very soon. So take my word for it, don't use thin tape if you're going to use a coarse stone, or you'll regret it. Anyway, Martin's Shave Test, over and out. See you all soon.